Hello, everyone. Nubkeks here. Welcome back to Nub Raids. And today, the event that you've been asking for, hoping for, but probably don't actually want is it's coming. It is officially coming with the official confirmation. And it's coming on Thursday. This was apparently leaked yesterday on Steam, which is funny. But we have this is official confirmation from Plarium now. It is happening on the 22nd of February. That's Thursday, in 2 days' time. We're launching a champion training tournament where you can get the champion or Nergigante Archer or her 6-star Perfect Soul. Ooh, here are the main points. You will get the champion for finishing first in your group leaderboard if you do not already have her. If you already have her, you can get the 6-star Perfect Soul for coming first. And there will be a minimum points requirement. Well, the minimum points requirement is obviously not particularly important, right? To actually win this tournament, you're going to need quite a few. So I think you'll reach the minimum just fine. So yeah, either you get the champion if you don't have her, or you get the 6-star soul if you do. So it seems like, if you are a Kraken, no matter what type of Kraken, I mean, I guess there is maybe one or two Krakens out there perhaps that have the champion and have her 6-star. It's possible, but for every other Kraken, whale, aspiring big fish, this is your opportunity to potentially spend a lot of money on the game if you want to. So look, needless to say, am I going to be doing this? No, I'm going to be skipping this. Interestingly enough, you can see that, again, if you want to double check the timing on this, again, it's happening on the 22nd. It's a champion training tournament, which is already in the event tab on Plarium Play. Of course, going back to my criticisms as of yesterday, I mean, yeah, sure, the event is in here, and it was in here, I'm pretty sure, yesterday for Plarium Play on the event tab, but no indication that it was this special event. So, again, quite a big flaw with this, but I mean, look, that's the event. That is it. That's how long it lasts. It will also have these the Titan event points in it. We'll look at the Titan event here today as well. The Archer, she is obviously incredibly good. She is probably the best of the Monster Hunter champions. Honestly, though, I think all the Monster Hunter champions are actually pretty good. Yeah, like they're all kind of good. They all have their niche. I actually I actually strongly disagree with some of the comments I've seen saying that these champions should have been overpowered because they're limited edition. Like, okay, listen, if that's the sort of game you want to play, then fine. But for me personally, I think you're bloody crazy. Honestly, I do not want limited edition champions to be overpowered. I don't want that because that creates, in my opinion, quite a toxic game environment of FOMO. It would be okay if this was not a game that had pay-to-win elements, but I think in a pay-to-win game, having limited edition things and FOMO for stuff that's really OP is not good. I think Archer certainly toes that line for me. AoE, 2-turn Hex, 1-turn Provoke against bosses, 3-turn Hex, 2-turn Provoke. She's obviously insane for Hydra. AoE Stun against non-bosses, AoE Decrease Speed against bosses. That pushes back turn meter with the stun, which is really strong. Sorry, I'm still sick, so sorry if I'm sniffling or coughing. AoE turn meter boost. I think it does the turn meter boost per decrease speed placed. So 4 decrease speed in Hydra, 40% turn meter, which is pretty strong. Although, again, if you got buff extension or if she's very fast and you try to reapply decrease speed and it has 2 turns already and it tries to put a 2-turn one, it won't give you the turn meter boost because it doesn't actually place anything, I assume. Increased accuracy on herself is fine. And then a really, really strong passive boosting her defense. So it's going to make her hit harder and be tankier, which is nice. It's not as crazy as like a Harima or let's say a Xena or something like that or Ninja that can massively up their stuff to like 100%, but 30% is still a nice bonus. But then this is a really, really strong heal. So she can be your team healer, your team provoker, team hexer, team decrease speed, team turn meter boost. Potentially you could mischief tank with her a bit if you wanted. She's obviously just insanely good. Mostly for Hydra, honestly, but also for Curse City. Sorry. Anywhere with wave-based content, AoE provoke, AoE stun, both on a 3-turn, is ridiculously good. It's ridiculously good. She can perma CC waves. So for Curse City waves, she's extremely good as well. So it's mostly for those things, Hydra and Curse City. She could be okay in Arena, but not super strong in Arena. Like Provoke and AoE Stun. Yeah, that's great, but people tend to have stone skin and cleansers and block debuff, so you don't really see those traditional debuffs play a role in arena. Maybe they will at some point, but at the moment, not particularly, I would say. But yeah, she's she's nuts. Like I said, I was sort of expecting maybe they would do a guaranteed for her, and I think that would have been probably a better way to do it, right? The fact that they ultimately came and gave you effectively guaranteed ways that were intensive, yes, right? They were intensive, but they were doable. Even for someone that was late game, if you were end game free to play, even if you were late game free to play, I think it was doable to get the other ones. If you're early game, no, certainly not. But it was something that was doable. This one is basically not. You have to win champion training. Like for me, that's really not worth the hassle. These champion training tournaments, it is a fairly long one as well, right? Thursday, it goes all the way. It ends on Monday. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and all of Sunday, you're doing basically 4 days of non-stop champ training. And it is as well. Let me just double check that. It is a tournament, isn't it? Yeah, of course it is. Yeah. So it's a tournament, which means books have an impact. So like I've got a decent stockpile of books. I can tell you there's going to be people with far more than that. You can use books to absolutely blast a ton of points. Yeah, like a big Kraken is gonna absolutely no problem. They're gonna have unlimited energy because they'll just buy it all, and they will just use a computer program like RSL Helper, and they will just perma farm Nightmare Campaign in like 7 seconds for this whole event. They'll probably have a whole ton of food saved up that they can rank up for quick, easy points. They will have a ton of books saved up, a ton of brews saved up for quick, easy points. I think fortunately, it's a really bad idea to go for this tournament. Honestly, I really do. Unless you are a very big spender, there's just no way that you're going to be able to compete with it. And I don't know, like certainly we have just come off of, I think it's gone now. Yeah, like we just came off of a big champion training event for Ancora, for her soul. And to me, that's a much better thing to go for. I did go for that one. Again, my vibe, I've said it before, I do feel like the Ancora thing with champion training, I think that speaking of the event for Alitrea on Blademaster, like I did both of those. I do think that the point requirements are too high. Like it is such a huge grind in a way that's kind of unfun. And like I don't mind doing it because I do mind doing it, but I do it anyway. I did them anyway because I'm a content creator, and it's sort of the name of the game. Like I've got the time to do it, right? But I genuinely feel that they're not bad events in theory, but they put the points too high, but at least it's guaranteed. You know how many points you have to get, and you will absolutely get the reward. For this champ training tournament, you have to win. You have to win. And yeah, if there's another Kraken in there, you can grind like crazy and walk away with basically nothing, which is super, super rough. So that's sort of what's going on with that. Sort of how I feel about this Soulstone rush as well, right? You kind of just need to put your FOMO aside and you need to go, oh wow, look at this, like, oh wow, there's really cool, mythical tome, a sacred shard, like primal, and like, that's lovely. They're really nice rewards. And then you go, well, that was nice, and you exit off and go, well, I'm not getting those, that's fine. Let's look at the Blademaster Titan event. Actually, not so bad. I was speculating about this in the video yesterday, but we didn't know for sure. Now we know for sure. I actually think this is pretty positive, honestly. Again, this to me looks pretty good. What I like about this is you have the 1, 2, 3, and then 4-star soul for him. That's up at 1,000 points out of 1,700 possible. So if you want to go further, right, you can get an extra 500 points, and you can go all the way up. And there's good rewards in here for people that want to go pretty hard. An Eternal Soulstone, that's nice, and so on. But to get the soul for the champion, it's actually not too bad. And again, there's even really good rewards here in Milestone 4. I say Milestone 1, it's pretty pitiable. Milestone 2, okay, I'll take some rarity charms and mortal, a couple of mortals, basically like part of a mortal. It's okay. Milestone 3, it's not too bad. There's a few little bits in there. Milestone 4 is quite good chunk of multi-battles. The middle, oil and extract is nice, 6-star speed glyph, 5 chaos dust. There's some really good stuff here. Like for me, looking at this, I'm going, okay, this actually looks pretty good. I can do 1,000 points out of the 1,700, right? So I can probably skip some of probably the summoning events would be the big ones to skip. I can skip the worst events, the more intensive. I can do like the more regular events, and I can actually get some good rewards. And that's actually not too bad. And I can skip all this stuff. And yeah, I'd love to get it, but I don't want to break, right? I kind of want to break from grinding. So I can do a small amount of grinding and I can get a 4-star soul for this guy and feel fairly good about it. So I think that's actually a really good way to do it. I much prefer this to the one that they did for Zinogre Blademaster, where it was 5-star soul as the top reward. And it was that or bust. It was either you get the 5-star soul or you get no souls at all. I think this is much better based on where you are. Get the soul that you feel comfortable getting and that you want. I think every single one of these souls is pretty valuable, kind of equally valuable, honestly. Yeah, each one of them is good. He doesn't really need a 5 or 6-star soul. And yeah, there you go. You can get that for Rathalos. And just jumping over to my Discord server again, you can find a link down below. A few people did share some teams. So this one is, what a screenshot. Oh my God, we got multiple levels of screenshot here. This is from Headstones. So this was his brutal team with Rathalos Blademaster, and it did a massive score, 475 million, which is really, really good. We've got Rathalos Blademaster in there with Mikage, Harima, Nekmothar, and Ugo, and a Michinaki. And we can see Rathalos, his damage actually super high, right? Slightly beaten by Michinaki with the Hex, but actually really, really good. So that's working well. Kind of interesting, I suppose the ally attack from Mikage helps him to stack up his move a little bit better. So that one is pretty cool. It's 1 hour and 30 minutes. So that to me says it's probably more of a manual run. So that's something to bear in mind, but still, like I do feel like he performs a bit worse on manual. Let's see. I think we had a couple other people submit runs. Here's one, a massive one from Robbie. Oh wow, 1 billion, right? Not 1 billion, 1,000 million. Yeah, 1 billion damage on brutal. 1 hour 13, so that's a bit faster. It is with Trunda, right? And the Trunda is doing 400 million. So like if you took away the Trunda, well, to be fair, it's hard to take her away because you know the more damage you do, the more you've got decapitated heads, the more your damage ramps up. So it's not really fair. But again, you can see in this team, my takeaway, you've got Krisk with the Hex set, Cursed set, doing lots of damage with the Hex. But Venus is a 6-star plus 3 Venus, to be fair. But she's bringing the burns, right? So that's your burner. Rathalos is actually out-damaging Mashald, which is quite interesting. So Rathalos, 200 million damage. He's really doing a lot of damage right there, which is cool. I think there was one other person. Yeah, we've one other person submit a team. Sorry, I've missed the name. Zico Chakala. There we go. There might be others. Again, you can post them in the Discord server. Share the team so people can make a judgment. This is for Nightmare. Again, so on Nightmare with this one, Michinaki is the burner. And we can see Rathalos Blademaster, he's actually performed pretty similarly to like a Varl, right? He's up there with Varl. Now, Varl, I do see he is not in a great set. He's in Perception and Cruel. Hard to say with Rathalos. I guess he's probably not in a great set either. He's got crit damage, he's got Cruel, and then he's got Merciless, but probably almost definitely can't have enough Merciless to give him a good set bonus. So I guess it's actually a pretty fair comparison. Ish. He ignores defense anyway. Hey, it doesn't matter. But again, with Lady Mikage and the Michinaki, so those seem, you know, it really depends on what burner you have. It does seem like Michinaki can be a great burner with him, especially with Lady Mikage, and that can get the most out of Rathalos. I guess, you know, when you do an ally attack, the Michinaki A1 will hit first and potentially burn, and then Rathalos, his A1, is going to do that bonus damage. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, I think like this is enough. These teams, thank you to everyone who submitted, they're a lot better than the teams that, you know, were coming up from the optimizer yesterday. So again, that has warmed me up on the idea of the Blademaster a good bit. Again, I think it does depend. Like he does seem to scale pretty well, like Lady Mikage, bringing the increased attack and ally attack is really good for him. He obviously needs really good burners, and that could be potentially difficult to get. But if you do get those things, he seems like he can work pretty well. You know, I don't think he's going to be like S+ tier. I think there are better options. I mean, I thought that was a good example. You see Trunda is going to do like double his damage, and that's without a Trunda setup, right? You know, and then again, it's going to be hard to have him do as much damage as like an Acrizia or a Grazor or something like that on Nightmare. Like he's going to struggle to keep up, but the more scaling you give him, the better. I mean, so yeah, I mean, even the 4-star, that bonus crit damage could be quite nice. So I think for me personally, what I'm going to do, I am going to go for the 1,000 points. That's my plan now. I'm going to go for 1,000 points. if I overshoot a bit, hey, it's not so bad, right? There's really good rewards if I get more points than I plan. But yeah, I'm planning to skip up to 700 points, basically. So I'm going to be looking for, number one, summoning events to skip. Number two, probably dungeon divers. We'll see how difficult this first one is. Might skip that as well. I'll have to like sort of flick through and double check, but that's sort of my plan. Anyway, I just want to fill you guys in on what is happening. We've got the Archer, we've got this. Let me know what you think about all of it. For me, like I said, plan is I'll probably grab the Titan points, but for the to get the soul for Rathalos, but I've sort of accepted at this point. You know, I'd love to get the Archer, but I'm never gonna have her. Had fun playing with her on the test server, but I think that's it. I think I'll never have this champion from the looks of it. Never gonna have her. And hey, that's life. Oh well. Thanks for watching though, guys. I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.